Blasting off into space on their PlayStation 5 controllers, it's a Slice of Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Moonlight150, and this is a Slice of Gaming podcast for May 31st, 2024. And we'd like to thank you for giving a slice of your time to a Slice of Gaming podcast. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Radio Public, and Audible. A little bit of house cleaning that we have to do after the introduction, so we're going to get to that right away. So quick intros, we have Bench.
Hello.
We have Dark.
How's it going?
Wolf.
Hi.
Fusion.
Hello.
And special appearance by Beef.
Bonjour.
So I said we got a little bit of house cleaning. As you can tell by the length of this podcast episode, this is not our typical 2 to 3 hours that we usually do, because we're going to be splitting it all up for the celebration of not E3. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to cover our regular gaming news that we're going to be doing the podcast for, which will probably be, I don't know how long this is. Just look at the timer down below. But then we're going to immediately go into recording our predictions for various showcases that are coming up, such as Summer Game Fest, a possible Nintendo Direct, the Xbox Showcase, and Ubisoft. And then we're going to be releasing those predictions throughout the week. So stay tuned to a Slice of Gaming on your favorite platform to check all those out in the coming weeks. Or not weeks, just a single week. So you're going to be getting content almost daily for the upcoming week to celebrate this miraculous time of the year that's used to be called E3. Anyway, so that is, I believe that is it for housekeeping. So let's move on to the quickie news with Wolf.
Yes, hi. Just saying, man, it's gonna be real awkward if you're like, yeah, if you notice the timer and it still says like 3 hours, it's like, there's no way we spent 3 hours on this.
And they all just go, they're yapping again.
Yeah, we had a PlayStation kind of week, a lot of PlayStation news. There was the PlayStation conference thing, CEO meeting, a lot of gibberish there. And we had a state of play that we were asking for literally all of May, and it happened the second to last day of May because PlayStation likes making us wait. We're gonna talk about the state of play first. A lot of stuff, arguable. Here's the thing: there was a lot of discourse online about the state of play. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people liked it. Back and forth, a lot of things. I just want to go around the horn. Everyone here, just quick ratings. How are you feeling about the state of play overall? Let's start with Bench.
I think about 7.5. Originally I was a little higher at like an 8, but I think after like sitting on it, I think we knew it wasn't going to be like big, and it had a lot of the titles that we kind of expected or needed updates on, probably stuff they had deals on for a while. But I think its pacing was just a little weird. There were some very short trailers, some longer trailers that dragged out, and the middle was just a little meh. It started, and I liked Concord. I do think it went on for a little too long. And then, it ended very well. Like, it ended with, 3 back-to-back games that were all looked very good.
Moon, how about you?
Yeah, if we're going by number, I was going to say C+, but if we're going by numbers, probably, like a 6.57. Really, the only thing I mostly care about is just Astro Bot. Good for the Monster Hunter people. I'm sure you guys got a lot out of that trailer. I was sitting there kind of like, yeah, it looks neat. Not going to be for me. As I've been saying, Concord has never really piqued my interest. Don't get me wrong. That the intro CGI was cool. And I'm like, oh, these seem like cool characters. This seems like a cool world. Oh, it's a multiplayer game. That's right.
Yeah, that's my feeling on that exactly. We'll get to the specific games.
Yeah.
But sorry, did you have anything?
And then, wait. Yeah, I think that's all I was going to say. Yeah, Astro Bot, let's go.
Hell yeah. Beef, how about you, man?
Well, I'm gonna get in trouble because, well, I guess maybe I'm still pretty low, like a 6. Probably for the same reasons as Moon. It's more nothing is for me except for Astro, which obviously we'll talk about, and everything else. I will say though, like, I don't think there's. I know like a lot of people are, like giving it like a C or D, yeah, like on like Keepies thing. I will say, I forget even who said it. Maybe it was Blessing, who's like, at least there was nothing bad like really shown. Except maybe that Nikki thing was like the only one that's like bad, but it was more just stuff, like not for me. So I will, except for Astro, obviously, and we'll get to. But yeah, I'm not gonna like get too mad over this. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I want a little more.
Dark, how about you?
No, I'll give it a C. And everything they showed was okay. It just felt lackluster given how long people have been waiting for it. And then to make matters worse on top of it, we found out that there's more first-party stuff from Sony being shown at Summer Games Fest, or around that time, which why didn't they just show it here? But yeah.
And finally going around the horn, Fusion. How are you feeling, man?
Give him the show a 10 now. I thought
the Sony pony coming out.
no, it was okay. I'm like mainly where everyone else is, like between a 6 and a 10. I'm 6 and a 10, 6 and a 7, like a 6.5, I guess. Probably like it was okay. I thought actually maybe a 7 because I'm pretty high on Concord compared to everyone else who'll be here. So like I got at least Concord and Astro Bot out of it, and I thought the pacing was fine. Other than Concord did last a little longer than I expected, and like all the other games were just. There's been way worse state of plays, I should say. I would say that Sony, the last few state of plays have been like way better than they normally were getting credit for in years past. So like, I can't be upset at it. If you're walking in with 14 games and 2 of them are PSVR2, which I don't own, and I'm walking away very excited for 2 of them, that's a good show for me. So I'll give it a 7.
Man, I forgot there was VR games announced.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I think I'm sitting around like 6.5, same as you, Beef, honestly. It was one of those things, I need to let people understand this. You got to understand this about state of plays. I want people to understand this. Don't go into these expecting anything. Just go in with the lowest possible expectations. You'll be surprised. Because I came in wanting Astro, really, and I got Astro. And I'm very happy with that. Everything else was like there was some cool things that I was originally actually at a 7.5, but then one of the games I was talking about this with Beef
Oh yeah.
where one of the games looked really good and then I learned a
Mhm.
specific thing about it which oh man, that immediately killed all my hype. But yeah, overall good. Like it's like I'm just tired of PlayStation being so quiet where it's like, okay, well I have Astro and Concord the rest of this year. What the hell is every other studio doing? And that's when we're gonna need a PlayStation showcase eventually. And we keep hearing the rumors of September. Let's start the hype train all over again. By the way, can I just say, who the fuck was actually expecting Bloodborne to show up? Can I stop seeing Bloodborne copium on Twitter before these state of plays? You're not seeing it at a state of play. That's a showcase
People
announcement.
joking, but I don't think people joke anymore. I think they genuinely like I think every Sony event ever they just believe it. They're just like
At
it's
this
here, and I'm like, what?
at
Kind of
this
like
point,
the
every
Silk
big name
Song
before a
fans.
showcase starts dropping it.
Yeah. We're gonna get into the specific games. Usually I do like highlight, low light, but like there's 14 games. We know what the ones we're gonna talk about, like the big stuff. I want to immediately start. Let's just get it out of the way. Concord.
Well, if we're gonna skip over a couple things, there are like 1 or 2 smaller games that I'd like to shout out.
Well,
Unless
okay.
we're going in order.
We're gonna go. I'll talk about them with you. You can talk about it at the very end. How about that?
Yeah.
Concord though, I want to start with that because this one, it was one of those things where like I saw the trailer, saw the gameplay, and I'll be honest, I was left unimpressed. Like I don't think it looked bad at all, but like I'm like, this is a rough market. I don't know, but it just came and went, whatever. And then I go online and people hated it. Like it was like I think it's 18% like ratio on its trailer, like really rough in that regard. People,
Wait, really?
yeah, it was a rough like to dislike ratio. Like people were not very happy with it. I'm surprised because I'm just like, guys, this is just another like team shooter. Like I don't know if we have to have that much credence into hating it that much, but I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. Like from a like. My thing is like starting off with a CG trailer, showing off the characters, the world. Yeah, sure, that's cool. But the problem was that it went on way too long. And I don't know about you guys. I don't care about the story in a multiplayer game. Like my whole assumption during that whole thing, Moon, I was right there with you, where it was like you watch that trailer, you're into it, you're like liking these characters. But I had that underlying thought the whole time watching the trailer where I'm like, it's a multiplayer game. Like I'm not gonna get much
Gonna
of
make
this.
no difference.
Yeah,
I think
it's like yeah. No, again, Bench, go ahead.
Oh, I guess we can save Fusion for last because he is going to be like the one on the hype train, and we don't want to get in the middle of that. But I think it was good, but it needs to be better than good to like succeed because it's already an uphill battle. It's not a free to play game, and that market's already filled with free to play games that are pretty good. So if this is good and $40, that's immediately going to put it at a disadvantage. And I think, yeah, it showed for too long. The CG trailer was cool, but that whiplash when it got into gameplay visually was a little striking, but I thought that the gunplay generally looked good. And I think, hopefully, if we get the hands on it, we can grow attached to these heroes, because like Overwatch, like, you recognize people and their voice lines and stuff, and you have that attachment. And it's kind of hard to judge how that's going to land without us getting into the game.
I mean,
just-
adding onto that as well, there's Marvel Rivals, which is multiplayer on all platforms besides Switch too. That's free to play, no less. It's a really steep hill they have to climb.
It's just a rough market in general. I mean, like, even Overwatch, the one who like popularized the genre, and I say that TF2 existed before it, but then Overwatch came out, like, took over the world. Even Overwatch isn't doing too hot. Sorry, Bob, but like, I don't know where you're like. I was watching that trailer, and Kyle Bossman made a video earlier today I watched, and he kind of nailed it, where I'm like, give me something to care about that looks unique. And I just looked at it, and it just looks generic. And I watched I was curious about this. I watched the Overwatch trailer again, like the initial reveal trailer where they showed off like Winston, Tracer, Widow. And just immediately, I feel like there was just a lot more personality. And of course, I'm comparing like this brand new startup team versus Blizzard. But I just think like when you go on stage with the swagger acting like you're Blizzard with a, yeah, check out our world, check out our characters. We got the vibes. And it's like, I can't get invested in this universe yet. And I feel like you really, really want me to. And
I think,
maybe I'm being overly harsh. I don't know, but I can't.
and I think,
I'm not feeling Concord yet.
and I think with Sony, there is like, I think we can say that they still have a live service initiative, but they're dialing it down. They're not going to have like every studio have their live service game, but this is one of their live service games coming out, and we know they've canceled a handful of them. So either
Yeah,
this was
because
just
this one
supposed
was
to.
too far into
Yeah,
development to cancel.
Well, I'm curious if it's too far in development to cancel, or they thought what they had was good, so they wanted to see how it did. Because that's like, because Factions, I don't know what state that was in, but we know it was playable and looked visually good from leaks. So it's like, I'm not exactly sure what if it's just they thought it was good or just too far along. So hopefully it's like it was actually good and they have promise in it, and that's why they decided to move ahead with it.
I mean, Bench alluded to this earlier. I might as well get right into Fusion. Fusion, you feel like I think I've seen you the highest on this game out of everyone. How are you feeling? Talk to us.
Yeah, I feel like y'all are haters. No, yeah, I don't think I understand what I like. I understand the people who are like, this has a tough hill to climb. Like, it's not setting itself up for like great success immediately off the rip, especially not being free to play, which is a little surprising. Like when they announced it, when I saw the pre-order pop up on the screen, I'm like, oh, that's a little weird that it's not free to play. But also, I'm sure this game probably costs a decent amount of money, and it's Sony, and how I understand Helldivers 2 is PvE, but Helldivers 2 is getting away with $40. Granted, the game's really good, and people really like it, but no one knew what Helldivers 2 was going to be this good before Helldivers 2 came out. I'm not saying Concord is going to follow the same path, but I find it a little weird that people are like, there was no one other than Helldivers 1 fans looking at Helldivers 2 saying, yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm pretty sure almost everyone in the industry was like, this probably won't work out for PlayStation, like $40, and like, it's just not going to happen. And then that game came out, now it's 12 million sales units. Like, that game's doing awesome. So I find it weird that you can dislike what you saw, fine. I just think a lot of people in the industry and a lot of people on Twitter and just a lot of people in the game space are kind of like overreacting, where it's like, oh, this game's dead on arrival. They're not even giving it a chance. Like, to me, the gameplay looked really good. Like, I felt like the gameplay was really tight and really smooth. Like, I thought the actual gameplay, characters aside, whatever, I was kind of surprised it was a hero shooter. I just remember them talking about how it was going to be a first-person shooter, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Hero shooters aren't my favorite genre, but I like some of them. I like the first Overwatch. I like Valorant. Like, if it's done well, it can work. It just seems like a lot of time they're not done well. Like, to me, I know Dark brought up Marvel Rivals earlier. To me, I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I thought Concord looked a lot better than Marvel Rivals has. Like, personally, now, I know most people
That's
won't agree,
insane.
but I'm more on the Concord train
Oh,
than the Marvel
gameplay
Rivals train.
wise, I would agree. Like gameplay,
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking straight
Concord-
gameplay.
I don't know how you look
Look-
at Marvel Rivals and think that gameplay looks good. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
just
mean, straight-
Overwatch. Gameplay is just Overwatch,
You're
but it's
insane if you
smooth.
think that game
And
looks so
that game
ugly.
still looks like a
it looks
mobile
more
game
cleaned
to
up.
me.
It looks more cleaned up.
That's what I mean. This game and like characters, I thought the CGI trailer was awesome, and I do agree that for one, it was too long, and for two, it set it up way too much to be a live service game. Like that CGI trailer, if this game came out and was like a single player experience, would have been amazing. I would be like, oh, we're getting our own Guardians of the Galaxy over at Sony. And even if they're still going for those vibes, I don't think that was the greatest way to set this up. Granted, you're gonna have a CGI trailer at some point, so at least they just threw it out there and then threw the gameplay after. And I think it's interesting. I know I was talking to Bop earlier in the Discord, talking about where they said every week they're going to add a new narrative tidbit. They're going to add a new cutscene or like a certain thing in the game where they're going to add onto this narrative because it sounds like they want to flesh out the world. Which I know Overwatch tried, and for the most part, it succeeded. At least with Overwatch 1, where people were truly invested in that game so much that they wanted a PvE mode. Like they loved those characters so much. So I
Yeah,
think
they were
Concord. I don't know if Concord. I doubt Concord can ever get to those heights, but I find it weird that people are just writing it off completely. Like, I don't know if it's just because the market feels oversaturated, especially in the hero shooters right now, and it feels like everything is failing. Like, it feels like the minute Overwatch 2 didn't pop off, people were like, oh, this market's dead. Like, Overwatch 2 can't even do it. Like, this is a gigantic IP, and people love Overwatch.
I'll make a
But I
quick
still-
argument there. It wasn't when Overwatch 2. I think people were kind of on the like hero shooters are kind of a dying market when like Lawbreakers came out and failed.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
And there were
that.
a lot of hero shooters like the Paladins. Like there were so many, and none of them did
And
well.
there was
That's
another
how
one
you know.
from, it was like, Blood,
issue
not
with-
Bloodborne, but something born.
The issue with Overwatch 2 as well is that there was actually a lot of hype around it until people realized it's just Overwatch 1 and like they didn't do shit. It's just an Overwatch 1 reskin,
Yeah.
Well, the problem
which is really weird. And you mentioned how people were like you were comparing Overwatch, like those type of games compared to Helldivers. Helldivers is kind of in its own category. You don't really see games that play like that compared to Overwatch and all these other games that are free to play and have big IPs. Like Marvel Rivals has the entire Marvel cast, and you can say what you want if about the gameplay, whatever. I think it looks like Overwatch, but whatever. When you have those new characters compared to somebody like Spider-Man and Iron Man and all those characters that bring a name and is free to play, compared to your game that's probably going to cost $40 to $50, that's a really tough sell.
And
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree. I'm 100% with you where I agree. But I think why is it Concord that the one like every franchise ever that's brand new? It's not like we're comparing it to the other games in the genre. We're talking about this is a brand new franchise. It's gonna be hard for people to get invested in. Let's let this game come out. Let's let this game get to the beta. I think we saw in the gameplay, at least to me, it looked very Bungie, which this company, Firewalk, right? Yeah, Firewalk.
Yeah, Firewall.
They have a lot. They do have a lot of former Call of Duty, and they have a lot of former Bungie. And it's like I could immediately tell with the sights on these guns, like it gave me very much Bungie vibes. I'm like, if you can give Bungie quality shooting in your game, that's already a win to me. Again, price aside, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out down the line. They have to have a content roadmap and everything else. Like they're gonna have a road to climb, but I don't think it's impossible. I understand people being skeptic, but there's a difference between people being skeptic about something and people just being like, nah, this is not going to work. Why are they making this? Let's move on. This is dead on arrival. Why are we even putting those thoughts out there? Let's like hope this game does good. Let's hope this is a team that can succeed. They're showcasing their game for you. Like you don't have to love it. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to get the game at launch. But let's not like. I just feel like for some reason Concord's the one where they're just like throwing it on the wall, saying, "Nah, let's just throw it in the trash. We don't even want it yet." And like, there's still going to be a huge casual audience for this game, especially with it being PC day and date. That like, if it's a good game, people will spend that $40. So like, I just say let's wait and see. We could come back next month. I mean, in July, that beta could suck. I could come on the podcast and say, no, this isn't it. But until I get my hands on and say it sucks, I'm going to just believe it looks good.
I mean, that's just the problem with the internet in general. Everything is either 100% the best thing ever or 100% the worst thing ever. So
They go by
that's-
Bench's rating system.
yeah, it's the bench rating system.
Wow. And here I was before the podcast talking about Paper Mario not being on either side.
But
Wait, what? You still like it?
But it's not the best thing ever, and it's not the worst thing ever.
Okay, so you're normal. Anyway, sorry.
Yes.
Continue.
But yeah, it's that. But getting all that aside, it's just the internet has no nuance. So there's no like reasonable until you get to an actual like talking like how we do, like actually talk things out. When it's just a bunch of commenters on Twitch and YouTube and other like comment sections, it's always going to be that hyperbole, and that's why you got to impress on the first get-go, because everything is based off that first impression, and those first impressions are going to be hyperbolic. So it's just, unfortunately, this just landed it in the negative hyperbolic of this thing is dead on arrival, this thing is going to just die immediately, and it's never going to be good, where now it has to do this uphill battle of not only fighting against the industry, but now fighting the public perception because you didn't have a good first impression.
Beef, you've been quiet. Are you feeling anything about Concord, or are you kind of in the same boat?
Not really, unfortunately. Well, mostly I don't even play Overwatch, so once I saw it was a hero shooter, I was like, check that out. I was kind of into the comedy features. I was into the cinematic, but the whole time I was also like you guys, like, how is this gonna translate to the live service? I even had the worst thought while I was watching that. I was like, man, if this cuts to like something like Luda, like a Suicide Squad, I thought it was gonna be even worse reaction. So thankfully, it wasn't that. But yeah, the hero shoot was kind of jarring to jump to just after kind of that story focused cutscene. So
To be honest,
unfortunately,
I think the
go ahead.
reception towards the game would be a lot better if it was like a looter shooter, like Borderlands or Suicide Squad.
No, I know, but I was like, right after Suicide Squad, I just knew like everyone be like, oh my, it was like they never learn or whatever. So yeah, I don't have too many feelings on it, but I mean, I'd check out. Maybe I'll check out the beta and change because
Yeah,
anything
might
that's
as well check out
free,
the
I'll
beta.
check. Anything that's free, I'll check out. So we'll come back after the beta and see what we think.
There's actually a really cool thing they're doing. If you pre-order the game, what was it? You get 4 beta keys for your friends. I think I saw something about that. I might be wrong.
Okay, I'll pre-order and get those.
Moods are correspondent. Thank you. But yeah, no. Concord. Hope it does well. We got a date, August 23rd. We're gonna see more apparently at Summer Games Fest because that's when pre-orders open. So that's kind of the assumption. But another game.
All right, I want you to say one thing about Concord.
Oh, go for it.
This is my one positive note. I'll throw it, just because the CGI trailer was good. Like, I hope Concord is a success, so we can have a successful single-player spin-off game.
Oh, like that canceled Apex spinoff.
Sure, something like that.
I'm still.
But yeah, give me something with those. Give me something with those characters. They go off on some single-player cool adventure because the first game was a success. They greenlight a spin-off that's an actual single-player game. Give me that. I'll be excited
Overwatch
for that.
didn't even get that.
This is how they make themselves
Stop
better than
reminding
Overwatch.
me. We don't need to remind me about Overwatch. Anyways, I was actually talking about the real game of the show. That's fucking Astro. All right, just called Astro Bot. This just shot up to be my most anticipated game. It's not even a debate for me. How y'all feeling? Because oh my god, that was I rewatched that trailer like 5 times. It's perfect. It's everything I wanted it to be.
I mean, I guess I'll go. No, Binks, you can go. You can go.
I mean, I just think it's like bigger, better. It's just Astro's Playroom, but like pushed forward in like so many different ways. Like the IPs being more important. I mean, the music in the trailer, I don't see people nearly talking about that enough. That was crazy. It got me so hyped. I just think, I mean, yeah, I think we're all share the sentiment that, yeah, it looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm kind of. Me and Binks and Doc were watching it live, and there was a point when we saw Monster Hunter. And I was like, dude, is there really not Astro in the show? Like for a split second, I was truly because I think Monster Hunter was. We were not keeping
was one of
track.
the
Like,
games before
It
it.
was the second to last one. Yeah.
yeah, Binks was keeping track of the games, and like I think Binks counted 1, 2 extra because
God
Monster
bless him.
Hunter was the 14th game, and I was like, there's no way they're ending on Monster Hunter. There's not going to be Astro Bot after like all these rumors. So I was getting sad for a moment, but then it appeared, and it was better than anything I can imagine. It's what I've been asking for like 2 years, where I just want a full-fledged take Astro's Playroom and make it just a full-on like 12-hour platforming game, 15-hour platforming game where it's just like I get to play as this little guy. That's awesome. You're gonna have. I was actually really surprised. Like maybe not surprised, but I thought it was cool how in depth the crossovers were. Like I knew like Astro's always gonna have like the PlayStation crossovers and celebrate PlayStation, but I thought they would maybe take a step back and say, hey, no, we want to just make Astro his own franchise and like we'll have PlayStation like little Easter eggs, but no, they're going full on. We're still using Astrobot to celebrate the PlayStation history, and I think that's awesome. I just thought like the boss battles we saw, and just like everything they showed was just like Astro's Playroom leveled up like to 100, and I'm like so excited. This definitely shot up to like, this is probably my most anticipated for the rest of the year, or like close to it, like definitely my top 3, where I'm like, this is game of the year worthy type stuff if they can deliver it.
Yeah,
I'm
so in that call that you mentioned, because for whatever fucking reason, every time there's a fucking showcase, there's like 3 people on Twitter who leaked the whole fucking shit. So I seen the leaks already. I knew like it was literally word for word every single game that got shown next to inside the same order got leaked. So I'm sitting there inside the call, wait, and like Fusion like kind of dooming. He's like, "Oh shit, is it gonna be?" I'm just sitting there waiting to see what his fucking reaction was the entire time. That shit was funny.
how you feeling, Beef? Are you an Astro
Yeah.
guy?
I was say, cause you wait, don't you know I am? I need to pull up Astro's Playroom, the like 4-hour game that I have like 40 hours in because I also
Oh, you did the speed
because
runs?
I also was really into the speed running.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I'm actually having to like talk myself down a bit, like because I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a bigger one, the full-fledged one, like not free. I gotta keep some expectations in check, but I am like, which is mostly just me like hoping that it is still like just Ash Playroom that quality, but like a bit longer, like a Fusion saying expecting like 12 hours like a Mario game, and if it is that, I'm gonna be quite happy. So yeah, I'm fully looking forward to it. This was definitely the one game where it's like get out, get off the seat, pop for it. So and I'm glad. Yeah, so it was very small of them to end with it because as we saw, people were just going bananas for it.
This was literally like everyone was like, "Oh, the state of play sucks," but Astro, where everyone was very much like that was the thing. It's like that feels good to know like Astro is getting the respect it deserves. And Mario 64, he got some details from the PlayStation blog and Fusion, what you were mentioning earlier, double down on the number of PlayStation character cameos with hint that they'll play a bigger role. And I saw a number somewhere. I might be wrong about it. I don't know. It was 150
Yeah,
cameos
over
or something like that.
150.
That's it, yeah, and it's like, damn, okay, that immediately gets me even more excited as a longtime PlayStation fan. Like, how deep in the well are they gonna
Yeah,
dig?
to get, I don't think I can even name 100 PlayStation unique characters.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
they're
like,
gonna be
literally.
some deep cuts.
No, that's the thing is that I was like, I thought they dug really deep in the well for Astro's Playroom. It's like, how much further are you guys gonna go? Like, what am I gonna get? Siphon filter? Like, hell yeah! But
Probably, yeah.
they got some fun, packed with die and retry levels to test your reflexes. I assume there's gonna be like those like really ultra hard like speedrun levels that Beef is gonna be speedrunning from what I hear. And then one thing here, 6 galaxies spanning over 80 levels in search of Astro's scattered crew. 80 levels is a lot more than I expected, and I am very fucking happy with that.
That's a negative I saw some people actually posting about, saying this could be too bloated. It's like, give me like an 8 to 10 hour adventure, not however long this would take. I'm like, really? So people are actually down on 80 levels.
I feel like most people are pretty happy about like 80 levels, at least from what I've seen. I'm surprised. I'm surprised anyone could say like it's too bloated because I'm like, listen, just give me more. You can have like 1,000 levels and most of them are the same level. I'm like, hey man, this is fire.
Yeah, it really depends on like how unique each level is. Because I could see myself getting bored by like 50, 60 levels, and we're doing this power up again. We're doing this thing again.
You know, the real exciting thing is that like they're actually going to utilize the DualSense features.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's what I'm caring about right now. Where I'm like, oh man, you know, those DualSense like Fusion, we talk about it all the time. The DualSense features are awesome, but like we feel like not a lot of games actually utilize them except like Sony first parties.
Almost no one uses it. I guarantee this will be the best usage of the controller since Astro's Playroom and at launch. So
I'm very, very excited. And one more thing I just had to ask: is this enough for PlayStation's holiday? And I just put, "Of course it is." Are you stupid? Because yeah, this is all I personally need. I can't imagine like PlayStation, like Concord, Astro Bot. Maybe that's just the rest of their holiday. Maybe they don't have anything for like
Silent Hill is exclusive.
holiday.
I was curious about that because it's pretty close to Concord. I thought Astro was gonna be like October, November, to be honest. To fill that gap,
Same.
but it seems like there's something else there potentially.
And listen,
I could see them doing
this
like
one I
a
can play.
DLC or something.
They care about the Keeley, so they had to make sure Astro.
Yeah, we know that something
met
else
the
is
cutoff.
coming. Like something else is gonna be shown off, and that might be their holiday game. But I just felt it was odd that it was super close to Concord.
There was some other games. We can go into them right now. Those were kind of the two big PlayStation first parties. I might as well talk about it now. The one game me and Beef were talking about earlier. What was the name of it?
I was about to say the name's not very good.
It was an
Blades
all-
of? Is that what it is?
Oh my god, it's so deep on
Like-
the Ballad of Antares.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
This was a funny game because like I watched that trailer and I'm like, this looks awesome. It looks like another Souls like, love Souls likes. It had like the graphically, it looked great. Like we didn't see any full real gameplay of it, so it was like whatever, like we'll see that later. And then I read the PlayStation blog for it and it just said free to play, and immediately all my excitement down to the fucking floor. I do not give a shit anymore about this game because I listen, free to play games, they're not all bad. It's just I know what's gonna happen. There's gonna be some gross monetization. There's gonna be like uninteresting stuff. I can't get excited for a free to play game. It just doesn't happen for me.
Yeah, because I fully admit I'm super cheap. Being free should like completely sell this to me, especially because thing I especially thought the boss designs, well, I'm assuming this bosses was like really close to FromSoft, which actually I think a lot of like non-FromSoft games don't do is like the really interesting bosses. So that's why I was like, oh, they're going real close. But yeah, like you had to explain to me too because in my mind I was like, what the heck would this even look like free to play? I had no idea what they could possibly do. And then you mentioned like it's gonna be gacha mechanics. I'm like, okay, well now I actually don't know what like if I'm even interested in it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good, but again, free to play just immediately gets my hype down. Speaking of hype down, we got to talk about these VR games. I just think it's hilarious. Fucking PlayStation's like, oh yeah, and we're gonna show off PlayStation VR2 games. There were two games, a Skydance game, Skydance's Behemoth, and some Alien game. And I'll be honest, I don't think these are system sellers.
I was let down because I'm like, oh yes, Alien, follow up to Alien Isolation. Oh, it's a VR game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem with VR, like especially PlayStation VR at this point, where it's like you see a game, it looks good, and then you're like, oh, it's VR. That immediately just gets you uninterested. I don't know. I kind of had the question of, is PSVR2 on life support? Honestly, I think it already is. It's been on life support for a while. I think they just keep it
They haven't
around.
been
'cause
it
they're like,
arrive on life support.
I mean,
Yeah, I was asking Fusion
Yeah.
this when we were watching, like, how many people actually play VR?
About 4 people.
I think VR2 sold 1 to 2 million. They haven't given. Here's the thing about Sony.
Is
I
it like
learned
a situation where like the Wii U, like a bunch of people bought it, but like nobody plays the fucking games on it?
No, that's the Wii you're thinking of.
No,
But
my bad.
here's the thing. Here's the thing about the VR too. Here's the thing about Sony. You need to understand. If they don't release official sales number for something, that means they're disappointed. So I learned that a long time ago. They have never released official sales numbers for the VR2. So it's like, that thing's gone. I just don't know what their plan is with this thing. It kind of tells me that this is kind of its rule in future state of plays, future showcases, where they show 1 to 2 games and then they're like, okay, that's our quota. It just there's no need for it.
Like,
Buy a
imagine-
MetaQuest.
Imagine you spending who knows how long working on a game, and you're like, okay, we finally get to show off our game to the world, and it's a VR title that nobody cares about. It's like, what the fuck?
That'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
I think they should just. I think they've shown every single event that they're less and less like PSVR2 talk. Like I think Sony at this point is just trying to get it like off the platform of being exclusive. We've seen rumors about like they're gonna have a PC adapter and like it's gonna be on PC, which is great. Just throw it, let PC players use it, and put that entire PC library of VR games and just like I never want to see a PlayStation first party make a VR only game at this point. I feel like PlayStation, and I think PlayStation knows that, and think PlayStation knows we're not going to waste our funds on this anymore. Let's just kind of push it out the door and move on. I think they've seen. I think the Portal has been a bigger success than the PlayStation VR 2. Like I think they've just seen multiple things with the VR, especially on an exclusive console where you're only having certain games on it compared to like on the Meta where you have so many more games and you have your PC interface and just all of that nonsense. I think they just have realized, hey, we probably should have not have made a VR2. They probably got caught up in just like the, hey, Xbox isn't making a VR, we can dive into the VR market again for console, blah blah blah, and they're just probably just like, let's just. No one's going to care if they move on from this thing.
Imagine the Horizon remake is VR.
Hey, I'm buying it. It's $600, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
why the
that's
fuck
more
would
than
you
the
buy that?
console. But
Why
it's
would you
such,
buy it?
it's such a good piece of technology. Like
Like,
it's so insane,
technology-wise.
but it's just
They,
yeah.
yeah, no, they're selling it at a loss. Like, it is an incredible piece of like actual technology. It's just, I think Sony's R&D division gets so excited. They're like, oh, we're gonna add this and this, and they don't think about the cost, and then they don't think about like the consumer pricing, and that most consumers look at $600 and they're like, I'm not buying that shit. Versus a $300 MetaQuest. There you go. That's such an easy sell in comparison. Where the MetaQuest also works on your PC, also is completely wireless. You can take it anywhere. Why would I not buy that over VR2? I don't see it. I think VR2 will eventually just fizzle out. You know, I want it to succeed. I don't think it will. And Beef, sorry, we kept cutting you off. Did you have?
Yeah, you're fine. Because I was gonna say I do have like slight interest in VR, and like because I have a PSVR1. Obviously, don't use it anymore, but like yeah, if I'm getting one, I'm going with MetaQuest just because like I prefer it being wireless. Seems like yeah, they have have exclusives coming that look interesting, and so yeah, I don't know. I feel bad, especially for the people who did buy it. I don't know if you've seen because I did check because the PSVR subreddit is actually like super nice, but they are like so upset about Astro. Like they feel betrayed that it's not like
Yeah.
even like there's not even like a mode or anything for. They feel betrayed. I'm like, guys, I feel bad for you, but also like I just felt like no one really was like really hoping or even thinking this was going to be a VR title. So yeah, I think it's on life support.
We'll see. I'm very much curious to see what the future of VR2 is. We got some other games. Bench, explain to me why you're actually interested in Silent Hill 2.
Listen, I don't know. I thought all the other trailers have looked not a great showing before now, but that last trailer sold me. I'll be there day one for this game. Like, I don't know. There's something that the vibe, like the kind of horror it was doing. Like, I'm sold. I'm there. I'm excited.
Did you watch the trailer for the showcase
Nope,
afterwards?
I don't need to.
There you go. That's why, because they showed extended gameplay.
I mean, I'm just gonna buy it and I'll judge it. And
I'll sit
If
here
you-
I
and
guess
say,
I'll be the only fair judge of the game on this podcast.
If you
Fair
go
judge.
into this
It
game,
is one of my favorite games of all time.
And it's clouding your judgment.
How
If
is
you're
it going
going-
the judgment? I want it to be good. It looks bad.
You want it to be good, but you're expecting it to be bad.
Oh, dare
If-
I? Because it looks
you-
bad. That's why.
if you're going into this game with the expectations that this is gonna be like Resident Evil 2R, it's a completely different game than that.
I'm just looking forward to have a
It's
good
not-
time.
Silent Hill 2
I'm with you,
is-
Bench.
Silent Hill 2 has never been about gameplay. I'll say that right now. But like, the gameplay looks bad. That's all I'm gonna say. God bless you, Blooper team. I hope you do it, but man, they did like developer interviews, like during the showcase I was watching for it, and like they seem passionate about it. They seem like they care, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe I'm being spoiled by like the modern Resident Evil remakes, and I want that for Silent Hill 2 of that scale, of that budget. And I will say, the sound design is great. I think the sound design, and I think most of the like environments, for the most part, they've done a good job of like translating that to modern days. But I'm just like, everything else, man, it looks rough.
No, I thought it
Um,
looked cool.
Hey, Bunch, it's okay. We can all be wrong. Anyways, Monster Hunter. I just want to talk about this real quick. Any of us Monster Hunter guys? I forget.
No, but I'm looking.
I've-
This will be the one.
I've
that's-
played
I'm in the
a
same
little
boat.
bit of it before. It's not my cup of tea.
I played Rise for like 10 hours, so I'm getting closer, but nothing has like fully sent me to play it for super long.
I mean, definitely Monster Hunter is kind of like an MMO, and I do already have that, but I'm definitely interested. I mean, pretty much anything Capcom puts out, besides that like upcoming Path of the Goddess game, I'll be there pretty much.
That's
I know that
crazy.
for this
It looked
Monster
like
Hunter-
shit.
For this trailer, they
You never
showed a
said that.
character. They showed a female character. I don't know their names or anything.
Yeah, they
Apparently
showed a
it's-
female
That's
character.
crazy. That's the one thing he mentioned, by the way. I want to point that
Can
out.
I finish my fucking
No,
sentence first? God damn you,
No,
bitch.
but that female character though.
No. So that female character is actually the protagonist of a previous Monster Hunter title, and she's now in like a mentor type role.
Seems like I need to go play some Monster Hunter.
I don't know what Monster Hunter they're talking about, but they did the connection with a jacket and shit.
I know. I'm definitely gonna probably be there day one for this. When are we expecting it to launch?
You
Keep
love the
saying
day
day
one.
one. He's gonna, brother. You're
He's
gonna
gonna
be
forget
day
about
one to bankruptcy.
Listen, hey, you better enjoy it. I don't know.
This
What
game
I'm
will come out
thinking,
in January of next year.
yeah, I'm
well, it's
thinking.
gonna be
I
in
think,
January.
yeah, I'm thinking January. I think we could get a date next week because it's at Summer Game Fest. I think it could get dated there.
Anything else y'all want to touch on the state of play?
Yeah.
Or we can move on.
I'll
mean, I don't know
briefly
if
talk
I'll-
about Dynasty Warrior Origins.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
That looked good, honestly.
Yeah,
for
like,
Dynasty Warriors games.
I've always
I never-
been slightly interested in Dynasty Warriors, but I never got into the series because every game I looked it up on always seemed like a game that was always a generation behind. I'm like, that just kind of kills it for me. But this one actually looks current gen or even next gen into some ways. So I'm just like, okay, now you have my attention. It kind of sucks that it's an origin story, but I guess that's good for me, I guess, because
Well,
I won't need.
It's
won't
Three
need it.
Kingdoms.
Yeah.
It's Three Kingdoms. It's just gonna basically be the beginning of the Three Kingdoms story.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
It's
just
an
like,
amazing story, by the way.
in a way, it kind of works for me because now I can start fresh at the beginning with Origins.
The
Yeah, I'm
thing with
definitely-
Dynasty Warriors and those type of games is really like video game junk food for me. Like that's
Oh,
a game
I'm
that you
sure.
just turn off your brain. You don't think whatsoever. It's so fucking easy.
It is definitely something that I'm gonna get for like $20. Like I may never even play it, but that trailer looked very cool, and I'm definitely interested.
What
Seems
a
like they're fun.
selling point! I may never play it.
That was
Hey,
a
they
fun
got his
trailer to
money.
watch.
He just likes buying stuff. He's gonna buy it day one and then never play it.
No, there's too much other things coming out.
Especially in 2025. That was a 2025
that's-
date, and I'm like, come on, guys.
It's like, oof, guys, it's, good luck.
Like it better be early 2025 because we already know it's late 2025. That's all I'm saying. Anything else? I will mention real quick. There was another Where Winds Meet, another Souls-looking game. It was another one that looked very interesting, but it was again like in development now. So that just tells me it's like
Yeah,
that's
we-
2026.
We learned about that game, I think, at the TGAs like 2 or 3 years ago. It was
Gamescom
forever.
2022.
Gamescom, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
That was 2
finally got an
years
update.
ago.
And it's still in development.
Well, I'm excited. But yeah, overall, I think we're all kind of like in the middle. We're like, it was middling state of play. Not what we really want out of PlayStation right now. We're waiting for that showcase. But one thing that PlayStation also did was a Fusion. You actually watched it. What was it called?
It's got it was literally called like the Sony business update or something. The Sony business group.
Was it hype? What was their big shadow drop?
No. And their big thing was, gosh, what was their thing? Like, break the boundary or something was their slogan.
Oh, God bless Sony. There was there was a couple of things I just wanted to pull out real quick. So Okami Games has this. Sony lists Housemarque under single player narrative focus for the next game. But Ben Studio and Media Molecule are listed under evolving / multi-genre. Don't know what that means. And Bluepoint is listed as a partner studio alongside Nixxes and Housemarque. And then MLB The Show also seemingly confirmed for PC, which is something I think we already knew. But the real thread I want to pick at is Bluepoint being a partner studio. Fusion, we were talking about this. What do you think that actually means? Is it that they're working with a third-party partner on remaking one of their old IPs while they work on their own single-player IP at the same time?
I mean, you could take it a lot of ways. You could take it that way. I also saw people, I forget if it was Shinobi, someone tweeted out that they were just like, they're probably just over there because Bluepoint's known for their just remake and remasters of like other franchises. So like even if they were making a single player narrative focus, like Bluepoint's known for what they're known over at the partner studios, I guess. So just like they threw them up there, and maybe they don't want to. Maybe it's a way of not spoiling what they're working on. Maybe they just want people to have no idea what Bluepoint's working on, and they're just throwing them up there and saying, "Hey, keep guessing because you're all wrong." But I think it'd be interesting if it was another remake. It's just weird that I always go back to that wording about how they tweeted out themselves. They were like, "We're working on a new story," or they said something about like a new franchise or a new concept, something where it was just like you should have taken it of the way where it's like, oh, it's something brand new and it's their own, but still some people ran with it where they're like, no, this sounds like they could be making like a remake of something or a new entry to a franchise that's like a new spin-off. Like, so it's still just weird that Blue Point, we have no idea what is actually happening over there.
I need that showcase, man. Do you think any of those other first-party classifications hint at anything substantial, or is it like, it's just semantics, doesn't really matter?
I think Ben being in the evolving multi-genre proves those rumors of them making a co-op type game, because that's been the rumors for a while that they're making a single-player co-op game, which is interesting, going from Days Gone to that, and I'm sure that will go over well. Also, I saw something on Twitter today. Don't know who tweeted it out, and I don't know the actual how legit it was, but I saw somewhere someone said the number that Sony is giving Ben to make their next project is $250 million, and that just seems
That's
insane for me
insane.
after Days Gone. Like, nothing to not to hate on Days Gone, but I just feel like you don't put out Days Gone, and your next thing is like, we're gonna give you Spider-Man money. So that would be interesting to keep eyes on.
Oh,
other
yeah,
than
that's
that-
true.
Okay.
Just looked it up. Apparently, however, the studio hasn't been idle, this PlayStation lifestyle, with Sony reportedly investing more than $250 million in its next game. So nothing confirmed, but like reportedly.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But I mean, at least looking at this, for one, I love that they did this. Let's keep doing this. PlayStation is usually really good at making these graphs that like show things like this. I think for Guerrilla and evolving multi-genre isn't that surprising, because we know there's a Horizon 3 down the line, but we also know there's a Horizon multiplayer game that in-house Guerrilla is working on, and then they also have the MMO and stuff, so I don't know if they're counting that under that Guerrilla slate, but I don't know, it's cool. I guess you could see this pretty much shows that the live service are Firewalk, Haven, Bungie. I don't know who Neon Koi is. Neon Kai?
Neon Koi? Oh my god, what is? Oh my god, I know that.
Maybe mobile?
I know Neon Koi. That's gonna piss me off. That I don't. What the fuck? I know them.
But
anyways, continue.
It's interesting that they're. Granted, we know all those games are working on live service, but I wonder if that's going to be a thing in the future where Firewalk and Haven are always going to be live service. Like, it'll be interesting to see like a year or two from now if they do the same graph, and it's like some of these places have switched. Like Haven might be up in single player narrative. So, but it's interesting that they have a full-fledged like live service slot here to say, hey, we're still making live service games. We know we brought the number down, but it's still something we obviously want to do.
And then the last thread I want to pull out of this meeting that's curious. Shinobi brought this up. Q&A with CEOs Herman Holst and Hideaki Nishino. PlayStation sees PC releases as opportunities for growth, not cannibalization. Extend the reach and profit of franchises through multi-platform deliverability. A lot of PR talk. Live service titles will be day and day on PC, but more strategic on tentpole single-player titles. And they actually said something very fascinating during the interview where I think it was Herman who said it. God, what was it? He said something Bench Fusion, you would know. It was like we want to make the live service games on PC, or we bring our single player games to PC so that eventually people buy a PS5.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He said he wants to make, yes, they say their strategy, which they got clowned on for, whatever, their strategy was, we want to put something like Horizon on PC so that by the time Horizon 2 comes out, PC players will want to buy the console to play that sequel. They want to put God of War on PC so people will be like, hey, God of War was really good. I'm going to go spend $400 so I can play that sequel. Like, that's what he was talking about, which has been their strategy for like 6 to 7 years now, and they've said it multiple times. I don't know why this is such a big deal all of a sudden, but yeah.
I mean, it has to be working if they keep doing it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people going like, why would I buy a PS5? And it's like, dude, it ain't for you.
Like,
here's the thing. PC gamers are the most patient motherfuckers on planet Earth. They will wait. But also, I don't think they're that upset about it, because there's a lot of people that won't. And also, you'll eventually bring your games to PC and they'll buy the game there. So
there is more people upset about the fact that God of War requires a PSN account than this.
I mean, yeah,
no, I don't think anyone's really upset about it. It's just a funny thing.
Ghost of Tsushima probably sold several 100,000 copies on PC. A portion of those people we'll buy a PS5 for Ghost 2, and then they'll look at the other games. It's just gonna it'll work for enough people to make it worth it.
Yeah, it seems like I kind of asked the question. It's like, do you think PlayStation officially goes like PC full day and date one of these days? And you never know. Like the future can hold many things. But I doubt that this is something they're thinking about in the near future, where it's like, let's release our single player games day and date on PC. That just doesn't sound realistic.
I
to
see
me.
them doing it eventually, to be honest.
I say, yeah, no, I mean eventually, but like I'm saying near future.
I
don't
think
Only
know.
if
Within
things-
within 2 to 3 years, I think it's possible.
Only
I-
if things
no,
go only if things go bad. Like if things start going down, people are like, okay, we need something. Okay, here's the next big thing we can do. But if things either coast along fine or even go up, and this like multiplayer strategy works and keeps single player games for 6 months to a year, and that works for them, then no, they're not going to change it. But yeah, if things go down, sure, things can change, and suddenly 6 months from now, a year from now, they'll be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, everything's day and date PC.
I say
think
2 to
it's-
3 years
I
because
think
Bro, think Sony's on their last legs.
No,
Did
no.
you read the last
Farther-
financial report, dude? They're fine.
I think it's way farther away than I thought. Originally, I was with Dark, maybe like 1 to 3 years, and now I think it's farther away. I think it'll shrink down to like 6 months to a year on PC, but I think we're a lot farther away from PC day and date than I had imagined. And I also think like people saying, "Oh, like Sony's games will come to Xbox." No, I'm at the point where like no way in hell that's happening in like the conceivable future.
I'm not saying that they're gonna do it in the near future because they're like not selling well or anything like that. It's just more so they're an old Japanese company that's stuck in their ways, like Square and all those other companies. When they eventually do day and day PC, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, we make so much more fucking money than how we've been doing it." That's just how it's gonna be. I'm not
But
saying
I
that
don't
they're
think-
I feel like
losing
they
money or
make
anything.
this. I feel like
I
they
don't
make
think
the
they're
same
viewing
amount
it.
of money.
I
don't
think they're viewing it the way that you think they are. I think
No, they're
they
not
would've
viewing it
said
like
that.
that. They're just looking at
I
it
think
how they are
no,
now.
they're viewing it as they know they could probably. I think they know they could get a lot more money if they did PC day and date. But I think they view PC as a way to sell more consoles, so they're fine taking that loss if in the long run it gets a lot more people into the ecosystem.
I think
that's what they
it's
view.
I think it's even deeper than that. I think they see this as we get the dedicated console people, you tease the PC people, and then you get that second round of like hype cycle of like, yeah, God of War was this really cool game. People liked it. People now PC players are chomping at the bit for it. It's like now you're back in the news cycle like God of War announced for PC and then it releases. So you're constantly in the news with your big game like a God of War Ragnarok for like 2 years almost because you got the console people all happy because it came out, and then you have the PC people waiting, and then you get to announce the PC, and then it's out. So it's like I said, it's
And then
2
it's-
years of like marketing
yeah.
for them for
And then
on
it's
one
not-
game.
And then it's not full price on console at that point, and it's probably on sale at some point. So then you get through that hype, you get more people on the console to buy it.
I doubt that. I'm sure that number is really small. I think it's more on the they see as like the console as we want to be the console people. We're like we are PlayStation. We are the number one console, and they will flaunt that. And so that's why all of their big single player games like Astro, like God of War, and all this will always go there first. PC is their second round of money. So PC is their
Yeah.
second round of marketing and
Mhm.
hype.
I think they really do know they're at a loss, but they see it as a gain in the long term. And I think all this definitely reaffirmed that I think a lot of this stuff that we thought may have happened, like PC and the like maybe some stuff comes to Xbox maybe in the next like 5 to 10 years. I think that kind of like no, I think they're going to continue doing what they're doing right now. Maybe PC window gets a little smaller, but I think they're like fine with what they're doing right now. It's working for them.
Yeah, I mean, think of like God of War Ragnarok's like the perfect example right now. Us console players have moved on from that game. It's like, yeah, that was a really good game, but that was almost 2 years ago now. And so, like, no one's talking about it in the console space. So, but now it's all brought back up again because the PC version just got announced. And now it's going to be releasing in this September. So that's like I said, it's a marketing gimmick for them. It's not. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they lost immediate Monday, but they're getting more money probably over this 2-year time span. It's a more constant flux.
We will see. That strategy is one that we're gonna have to be watching literally over the next decade. So, but moving into our only other news topic, actually, which this will be quick. Okami Games says this rumor: Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica remakes in the works. Resident Evil 9 pushed back to late 2025, 2026. Now you may be thinking, "Well, this is just a random rumor." This is from Dust Golem, and he is pretty much 100% spot on according with all Capcom things. So,
When it comes to Resident Evil, he knows his shit.
yeah, I kind of just asked, like, when will we see this games? When will they release? I'm just curious about these games because Code Veronica, that was kind of a remake rumor that we've heard for a while, and now we're really gonna get to see it.
Yeah, so in terms of games they haven't done yet, Code Veronica was up next. I don't know why people were thinking they were gonna remake Resident Evil 1 again, but Resident Evil 0 hasn't been touched in fucking forever. So outside of that, and then the Revelations games, and I guess if you want to count Operation Raccoon City, they've done just about everything. So that was what was next up.
When are we gonna see these games? I kind of told myself it would be like SGF for a while, and then we heard about this. It's like, okay, maybe it's a bit further out than we think.
Well, maybe I think 9 is the one that's further out. They didn't really say anything on Code Veronica or anything like that. They also, Dust Golem also said that Resident Evil 5 is not in current development at the moment. He made it seem like they were working on it before, so that's also a game that's coming. I honestly think one of them can probably drop at the end of the year, maybe, if they do show it during the summer. If not, next year for sure. I don't think both of them will drop, though. It'll probably be one and then the other.
Very
Yeah, I
curious.
think 9's a little farther away. I think 9 could be 2026.
Say the idea of 9 being an open world gets me really excited.
I don't think
remember
9
hearing those rumors.
I don't think 9 is 2026. I think 9 is definitely next year. They just have shorter marketing cycles.
9 being open world, I mean, I'm not sure because I think if they nail it, it could like reinvent the horror genre into making like an open world free explore horror game. Or it could like be very weird and
The
not a
Evil
good
Within
way.
2 kind of did that. And it was like, yeah, they hated it or loved it.
It wasn't only for specific chapters in that game.
It was for like the first half.
Okay, yeah,
And then it
that's
got more linear.
gotcha,
But it was
gotcha.
it was a weird dynamic.
We will see. I'm excited for any more Resident Evil. But now, that's all our news. Like we said, it's going to be a short episode. We're just going to talk real quick what we've been playing, which the only new release that we're still talking about is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, because Fusion won't start 9 Souls. Get to it, man.
I can't, man. I was busy.
You were busy. Okay, I saw you on something. I didn't
I
actually
mean,
see
we had
you on anything.
Multiversus.
Yeah, I was playing Multiversus.
What's Multiversus like now? How are you feeling?
It's good. They fixed some
Feels slower.
hitboxes. It definitely did get slower. But there's things where I'm absolutely just shocked that we're in the beta. That's like the early access version of the game that's not in the game now. Where like they took the leaderboards completely out of the game. Don't know why. Ranked play isn't in the game. It was in early access, by the way, but not here today. After game stats completely out of the game. There's just a little stuff like that where I'm like, why did you get rid of them? And they tweeted out like they've tweeted out a few times like, hey, these are coming through a patch. It's like you took your game offline for 15 months. Am I still waiting for these in the patch, man? But other than that, like straight gameplay aside, I've had my entire friend group, like 6 of us, get on. We've gotten on twice this week already, and we literally just hop on and play. And it's still a very good, satisfying Smash clone, like fighter. Like it's still awesome. The new characters have been pretty fun. Like I'm still having a blast with it. It's just so weird the quality of life features. Like the UI got horrendous from early access, and now they completely made a different UI. And I'm like, I don't understand what you guys were doing for the 15 months that this game was offline. Honestly.
They added new currencies and it's pretty fucking steep right now. If we're being honest.
Oh yeah, I
You
still
can get
haven't looked
one
at that stuff.
character when we first log in and all that. You can get one character that you want of your choice within 40 minutes just by doing challenges. After that, it's gonna take you a hot fucking minute to get a character that you want for a single character that you want. So yeah, they need to balance that out. The store price is also like egregious.
We will see. I'm interested to see what the legs on that game are. But real quick, let's talk about Paper Mario. I am at the final dungeon. I think I'm literally about to beat the game, like 1 or 2 doors away from beating the game at this point. It's pretty much all I wanted from it. It's a very solid remake. Did everything right. It's the original game in all its glory with a lot of new quality of life features. They fixed the backtracking in a lot of places. It's still really bad. That's the one thing that's definitely like hampered my joy. It's like, man, I did not remember the backtracking being this awful in this game. It's not like game breaking, game ruining, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like you notice the backtracking after a certain bit. And combat's still fun. Gameplay is still just as joyous as I remember. As an RPG, like this is pretty much what I want out of RPGs. Like if every RPG was like this, I'd be pretty happy. But yeah, overall, very much enjoying it. Depends on how I feel about Game of the Year time. I don't know if I really want to count it because it is such a direct remake. It feels a little unfair, but who cares? But Bench, how you feeling?
I just finished chapter 6, but I've got about 2 left, so I'll finish it up here probably tomorrow. But I'm pretty much I played the original and beat the original, and I think maybe it's because the original was one of the first RPGs I've played. I thought so highly of it all the time. Coming back as I've played, the game definitely peaks early, I think. The first couple chapters are the game's best, and the next couple have been pretty good, but it's definitely like starting to get a slog, and playing for a long period of time is kind of getting a little more difficult because it's not keeping my attention the way that it does earlier in the game. It's just not as like incredible as I remember it, but it's still a very good RPG. And maybe it's just because through time I've fallen deep down in the hole of heavy story-driven RPGs that there's always like some mystery plot, and this is just charm, and it nails that. And then, like Wolf said, the backtracking is pretty bad. There's a lot of small things, and probably me just overhyping myself, which has led to a little disappointment. But overall, I'm still really enjoying myself.
So you hate the game, in other words?
He hates the
No,
game, guys. I think I think everything you said is fair. Like that's the thing. It's just definitely where we differ in our RPG taste. I just prefer the more charming, more comedy based ones. You like melodrama.
Persona.
Melodrama. But yeah, Beef. Real quick, were you interested in jumping on this?
Yeah, it's probably getting it this week because I may or may not be renting it. So, first question, Wolf, how long did it take you to beat now with the quality life improvements?
I want to say it took me about. I haven't checked my clock. I think it's like 22 hours.
Okay, that sounds perfect. That sounds actually perfect then, because I want to.
I have
beat
like
it quick.
5 hours left, and I'm at like 19 hours, so it shouldn't take
Okay.
you more than 25. If you go for
Yeah.
everything, maybe 30 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I really like.
Go ahead first.
No, you can go.
I was gonna just say, yeah, because I do also play the original. I don't know at the time. I couldn't tell you when I played it for the first time, but yeah, also really like it. Almost went back to try and play it last year, but I don't know if it was just because it's slow pace or maybe there was backtracking issues, but I didn't finish it. So, but now I'm gonna definitely. I think I'll definitely have no trouble beating it because yeah, I do still enjoy it, and maybe I was just busy with something else. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it, and I pretty much know what I'm getting into, so I don't really have worries about overhyping myself. But I'm actually really looking forward to it.
I will say, I hope, and kind of maybe a little off topic, I do hope the Mario and Luigi series comes back, because those are my like the best Mario
Alpha
RPGs.
Dream
like,
is God.
Listen,
You have to
hell yeah.
accept it.
Listen, that was like a shot in the heart, because those are the Mario RPGs that I grew up with primarily, and those are the ones I love. So even remakes of those, remake those forever. I could play Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, which was my first video game, and Bowser's Inside Story, and honestly, the rest of them, Dream Team and Paper Gym, I love them all. So just, I don't know, port them something, I love those games.
This may sound sadistic. I don't mean it at all as like rude or anything. I really wish I could have seen Bench's reaction when we got the story about Alpha Dream going bankrupt, because that probably was the darkest moment in his life.
Dude, my heart dropped, because I think that's like the only time where I've had like a deep personal connection to a studio and their games, my childhood, and it was ripped out. Like a lot of Wolf, you don't get your slides anymore, but Naughty Dog's still around. Like that was Alpha Dream. I remember.
I was Sucker Punch.
Same thing. I know Naughty Dog made something.
Jack.
That you like.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't even work with.
So I mean, yeah.
No, I get that.
I remember like the Alpha Dream. Remember the Alpha Dream logo. Remember all the title screens for those games. Just those are my Mario RPGs.
Listen, Bench. I know the feeling. Like, do you really think in the next 5 years, Naughty Dog, you're gonna see the Naughty Dog logo and fucking Jack and Daxter? Like, no, yeah, that franchise is dead, considering. So, like, God bless them. I hope one day it comes back, but like, I kind of stopped wishing after a while because I just know.
They kind of like, I don't know, because Nintendo like didn't even like buy them.
That
they
was
bought, like
weird.
people like.
It was weird
What
because
could
like
have
they
been?
didn't even like invested them; they just let them die.
The Bowser's Inside Story remake, the Bowser's Inside Story, one of the best RPGs. The remake was sent out to die because it was in the 3DS in like 2018.
2019.
I played it. I was there. The glorious days can be remembered, but I don't know. They didn't even get a chance on Switch. Is what sucks.
I was really big on Mario RPG. I think that game is phenomenal. So I'm hoping the Thousand Year Door, based off how just people talk about it in general,
It's
holds
better
up.
in every conceivable way.
Well, it's not better in terms of.
Wolf, you didn't beat
No,
Mario
actually,
RPG.
no. I don't know. Yeah. I will say. I'll get back to that.
You can probably do it in an afternoon.
Yeah, you can beat that game in one setting, to be honest.
I
It's not
don't
hard
have
yet.
enough. You guys do not understand how busy I am. Okay.
Wolf, you
Yeah,
play
it's like
more
you guys
games.
talk about. It's like, oh
for-
yeah, do a 9-hour game in one sitting. It's like we have things we have to do.
No, I'm not gonna like Moon. Yeah, I get it. But Wolf, no, you put more hours in games per week than any of us.
I play good games.
like-
That's the thing.
Honestly though, sorry, Bob, but yeah, Wolf's right about Mario RPG there.
Nah, you fucking haters. Fuck out of here, that shit.
I know. I like the game. I just I don't know. I
Ben
don't like
just hates
RPGs.
Mario RPG. It makes no fucking sense to me. I don't trust his opinion.
I don't know.
Dude, it was so disappointing.
All right. Well, that's all our podcast. It ended with us complaining about video games again, as per usual. Moon, get us out of here.
So our first ever short podcast is going to be immediately followed by us recording a bunch of predictions. So by the Thursday showcase prediction of Ubisoft, we sound dead tired. It's because we are, because we're now going to go record now 4 different segments of different predictions. So keep an eye on those in the coming week. I'll just reiterate the schedule. So Monday, we will be posting the Nintendo predictions. Tuesday, the Summer Game Fest. Wednesday, the Xbox Showcase. And Thursday, the Ubisoft. So look forward to those. Make sure to like on all of them, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. And we will see you guys on the next video, which will be coming up out real soon. Say goodnight for now, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
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 Good night, but not really good night.
It's like, it's a see you later.
Yeah, it's a see you later. It's a see you soon.
Except I got to deal with all you right now. We got to record 4 more videos.